Hi, and welcome to the Paul and Mary Jo Show.
I'm Paul Perdue, and I am the infrastructure nerd.
And I'm Mary Jo Boyd, the legal technologist.
You know, PracticeMaster has a contact file that we put people into. It has a client file that we put clients and matters into. But it doesn't really have a good way to hook those two things together.
You know, I see that all the time at our clients. They are putting people and entities in all these different tabs. They're going over here to put the court information in. They're going to another tab to put witnesses in. They're going to another one to put defendants in and opposing counsels, and on and on and on.
Well, what they need is a place to put all those people in one location and identify what role they take with that matter. So we developed something called the people file that lets them do just that.
And it also shows up in Matter Manager.
That's
so
correct.
See these people? That is awesome.
Yep, everything's all in one place, and you get all the information right there on the surface, and you can get any bit of information about any person right there.
Can you show us how that works?
I sure can. Okay, the people file shows up here in the client file. It's a common client-related file, which means it shows up as a tab at the far right for all matters, regardless of what area of practice they are. I'm going to choose Michael Larson because he happens to have some people records defined. And of course, you're familiar with these screens. They may look different on your system, but these are the screens, or the tabs, I should say, that are part of PracticeMaster's client file. And all we do with the people file is add it as an additional tab. And when we click on it, what we end up with is a place where we can go and say, this person is tied to this matter with this role. So for instance, Marcus Phillips is the claims contact in this matter for Michael Larson. Darlene Blackstone is the opposing counsel in this matter for Michael Larson. And Michael Larson is the client. A lot of times clients of ours will also identify who the client is, because sometimes the client may be many people. There may be 4 or 5 people tied to the client that you want to list here in the people screen. Now, one of the things that's happening here is that we are identifying a person, and this is a link back to the contact file. There's the contact record for Darlene Blackstone, and we're identifying what role they take in this particular matter. Now let's think about that for a second. Darlene Blackstone is obviously an attorney because she's opposing counsel in this matter. She may also be a mediator. She may be an expert witness on truck accident litigation. She may be an arbitrator. She may be a lot of things. Well, we've got one record for her. If you look at this link here, you'll see the record we have in the contact file for her. But we may have 17 different matters that she's tied to. In 8 of them, she may be opposing counsel as she is here. In 4 of them, she may be a mediator. In 2 of them, she may be an expert witness on truck accident litigation. The point is, we've got this one record over here in contacts. You can see it here. And we've got many matters that we want to tie her to. So for each matter, we simply go and create a people record to tie her to that particular matter under this particular role. So if we were to say that Darlene Blackstone is also a mediator, let's say, on a different matter, we'd go to that matter, maybe this one. We'd go to the People tab and add a record. We'd find Darlene Blackstone, because remember I said her record is already in the contact file. And now perhaps she's a mediator. In this particular example, we've lumped the two together. In a minute, I'll show you how you define this. And that's all there is to it. There's extra fields here. I'll explain them in a second. But let's save it. And we have now added Darlene Blackstone as a mediator to this particular matter for Peterson Insurance Company. You'll see that all her information comes through into the snapshot. This is a customized snapshot. That's another one of those special things that we do here at Attorney Computer Systems. And there is video content on our website. I believe one of these Paul and Mary Jo shows was about snapshots. We have a couple different videos about snapshots. But we've made a special snapshot that brings all the information about whoever you've got highlighted straight to the top. By that I mean, if we're in the people file, the snapshot's going to show me the contact information for each individual person that I highlight that's tied to this particular matter for Michael Larson. Now there are some other fields in here, and I just want to kind of touch on them. We do have in our example, we have the ability to link attorneys to clients. So if you had a big multi-defendant litigation and you're representing one of the defendants, but there really are 18 defendants, you could list all 18 opposing counsel, or maybe there's only 10 opposing counsel because some opposing counsel are representing, or I'm sorry, co-counsel, because if your client's a defendant and their clients are defendants. So you may have 10 different co-counsel, if you will, representing the other 17 defendants. And this is a way to link them together. So if we were going to enter an attorney, first let's enter a defendant. Let's say that, gosh, do we have Paul Perdue in here? Let's find out. No. Let's say that Lauren Phillips is the defendant. Oops, there we go, defendant. And she is going to be represented by, and she's not our defendant, so she's a different defendant. We're representing somebody different. And let's say that, we'll just find somebody real quick. Kelly White. She's not an attorney, but we'll pretend she is another attorney. Now let's say a co-counsel. Sometimes we get into the distinction between co-counsel because if we're representing one defendant and somebody else is representing another defendant, they're not technically co-counsel. We would actually probably have a role for other attorney. And so now we've identified two new people. Lauren Phillips is the defendant, Kelly White is the co-counsel. If we go into Lauren's record and we say that she's represented by Kelly White, and consequentially we go into Kelly White's record and say that she is representing Lauren, we've now created this circular link. And now what we see is when we click on Kelly White, we can see all the people that she represents. In this instance, just one. And when we click on Lauren Phillips, we can see who she is represented by and all their information. So we've created these links. We also have links in our example to tie agents and adjusters to insurance defense claims. We have a couple extra fields to identify employee-specific information or employer-specific information. And we have some stuff over here that I'm not going to get into that gets into how we would print these people on assertive service if we were going to do document assembly that had some rather complex pleading work that included, of course, assertive service, certificate of service. So basically the concept behind the people file is give your users a tab right here where they can go and add somebody and say that this person serves this role on this matter. And then we've got some extra fields to tie them together. Now, how do we do that? It's really, really very simple. If I go into file maintenance, all we need in the very base example is the name of the contact and the role. So we're creating a file called a common client related file. In my example, it's called people. I've seen it called parties of record. I've seen it called parties. I've seen it called a lot of things. In my example, it's people. And the two fields that we have to have, the client ID will already be in there, are contact, which is basically who the person is and their role. And we make that a drop-down list and we edit the list of roles. Now, if we were to drop our predefined people file into your firm for you to use, it would come with all these roles that we've defined, and then we would take out the ones that don't apply to you because there are a lot of roles in here that really are more for different areas of practice that may be different than what you're practicing. We've kind of defined a role list that is all-encompassing. And you'll find some roles that go in here that we haven't thought of. Now we have a whole bunch of other fields that get into those ways to link people together, defense attorneys to defendants, defendants to their attorneys, things like that. But the general concept is this, that if you create a file that has the ability to take a person and link them with a specific role to a specific matter, it makes it a lot easier for the people in your firm to find the information that they're looking for relating to the people that are tied to a specific matter, because when they pull up the matter, they can just go over to the People tab and see everybody that's tied to the matter. And that, in essence, is the People file. Well, there you have it. The People file as we have defined it.
And that's just one more way that we can help you worry less
And practice more.